Good morning, you guys. I'm just going to do a yes or no reading on whether or not Kate Middleton really was the one that posted the photoshopped picture of her and her children, and if it was her that apologized on X, or what is formerly Twitter. I really find it odd. Now, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. You won't find. I know that things can be more than what they seem, for sure. But I also have seen people go way off board over the last few years with all kinds of crazy stuff. And I think many of us have too, to the point that whether you go from one extreme to another extreme, the truth is usually someplace in the middle. So I never find bouncing to one extreme or another, like with so many conspiracy theories, is a good way to figure out what the truth is. I think you have to try to keep an open but level mind. Keep it open, but not so your brains fall out, as they say, but not too closed either, and doubt something just because it's not what you expected. So let's just say, was it Catherine? Was it Princess Catherine? Did she manipulate those photos herself, as she is supposed to have claimed on X, on the Royals account on X, also formerly known as Twitter? I have a feeling Musk won't be always in owning that communication network, that social network. Just an extra bonus of my intuition. I think he will eventually drop it. All right, anyway, but that's not what we're looking for here. I want to give these cards a really good shuffle. So was it Princess Kate? Was it Kate Middleton, otherwise known as Princess Kate? Did she really Photoshop those pictures, or rather picture of her and her children, and then apologize? Because AP has looked at the photos and they've said, no, we can't use these. These are clearly manipulated. And just in weird ways, like the sweater arm of one of, her children's, her daughter, I'm drawing a blank, but things like that don't finish, or there's too much of the hand in one area. There's just these odd little, and the stones, the tiles rather, that are down below aren't right. It's like, what was being manipulated then? I don't understand even then why you would. So why? I'm just very confused. All right. So did Kate really end up manipulating those photos and posting them, and then posting an apology for it? Was that really Kate? Let's see what we get. I get the World, and I get the Ace of Wands. So the World is a completion, and it is, with the Ace of Wands, the beginning of some new effort or cycle or enthusiasm. I'm trying to see how that works with this. And we get the King of Pentacles. Didn't get a Queen of Pentacles. And we get the Hermit. Despite the fact that we're getting the World and the Ace of Wands, I don't think it was her. I could be wrong. Sorry, I'm always sliding. I could be wrong. But when I look at all four of these cards together, I see someone, particularly here with the King of Pentacles and that Hermit, as being the person that manipulated the photos and made the post for her while she's in hermit mode. I question whether or not, in all honesty, that she's well enough to post these photos. I think she's probably going through a pretty hard time, and they have got to stop, as far as I'm concerned, just not telling people the basic truth. I think it's led to I think it's blown up in their face. And when are they going to learn just to be honest with the people that pay for their planes and their lifestyle? I think you owe them the truth. Like I said, I'm no monarchist, and I'm deeply bothered by the fact that they're still pulling this what I think is unnecessary dishonesty, and it's leading to more problems than necessary. Even if she's really, really, really sick, let the people know. So, okay, what am I getting with this? Well, I am getting, like I said, the end of a cycle with that World card. And that Ace of Wands just makes me feel like something new is beginning to revitalize. And it makes me wonder, is she rounding the corner, but yet somebody else is posting these things? Quite possibly. Because when I just looked at this Ace of Wands here with that World in the first, these were the first two cards, I feel like, okay, something has completed and now there's new life. I almost felt like I could hear these new branches coming out with leaves, like spring. The kind of noise, I don't know how you would explain it, but anyway, I just felt like there's something that of a renewal. There's something of a new energy that's coming, and that something else has ran its course, and we're just at the beginning of new vitality or new energy. But we get this behind the scenes type of character of a King of Pentacles that I think is the one that put this out there. I didn't get a female card. Now, if I had gotten a female card and it made me feel like it was an aspect of Kate, I would say that. But I haven't yet gotten it. I'm going to do this a few times because, gosh darn it, I want to know. I hate this. All right. We get the Ace of Cups. This is a lot of emotion coming out. This is a lot of people expressing themselves about this, continuing to. I'm so annoyed with him, Kensington Palace. Just tell the darn truth, will you? You're winding people up more and making stranger and stranger conspiracy theories bounce around out there that I think are more damaging than the truth. So what goes along with this Ace of Cups? Well, the Emperor does. And that is an authority. That is also could be looked at as King Charles, I suppose. But this makes me also feel like it's the patriarchal structure behind the monarchy that's running the show. Because it is a very still. I don't care that there was a queen and da da da. Um, it's still based on a very patriarchal system that I identify with the emperor. And I feel like they just aren't learning the lesson. This Page of Cups to me is the continued outpouring, literally, towards the monarchy and towards this system and the authorities that are in charge behind the scenes of these things, such as the photos and not offering the truth. And people aren't stupid. They do know that they're being lied to. But what will happen is it is natural to us to try to figure out an answer. That's a normal human mental little exercise that we will become stuck on. We want to understand. And no, I don't feel like the emperor is her husband. No, this is above and beyond. It is the system. It is the system that's been in place. And I just think people are fed up with that. I do. I think they're fed up with these outdated modes of how they respond to things. And really, they're quite insulting to the intelligence of the people whose taxes pay for their private jets and their lifestyle. And they're being supposedly, ambassadors, because many people want, kind of that the monarchy is something that people find interest in historically, and it draws a lot of people, a lot of money into their country every year. A lot of people like to keep up with the royals, and I'm not putting that down at all. But I'm just saying I think it's really disingenuous and not very nice to these people, number one, that are supporting the monarchy with their finances, whether they like the monarchy or not, and the people that have an interest in the monarchy and like to know the truth. I just think it's an insult to the intelligence of people. Okay, I feel like I had to get that off my chest. We get the Two of Swords, and we get the Page of Pentacles. And the other thing is, I don't feel like this person that did it has very good skills at least if you're going to have someone do this for whatever the reason is, and I don't support that, but get someone that knows how to Photoshop so that it doesn't have all these errors that's going to send people going, what? This is obviously a tampered with photo. And not just a little bit to make somebody's face look less wrinkled, shall we say. Let's see what else I'm picking up. Again, to me, it's like a stubbornness and an insistence after, following the Emperor and the Ace of Cups, of not to take right action. It's very novice, and it wasn't well thought out. Furthermore, I would believe that before Kate could post any photos, with the way that they are so, especially their image is so controlled, I think that they've got way too many people, number one, telling them how they should, what images they can put out, and controlling their images and making sure that they look like this, that, or the other. I think that really this should be done away with. I think there's a lot of people that inflate the problems that are already there and aren't really helping the royal family, but are just adding to the confusion, especially when you have people jumping in to go ahead and do this. So I get males. I get the King of Pentacles, and I get the Emperor. Is this Emperor possibly her father, and him having to deal with outpouring of feelings? I simply don't know. Don't know enough about her father and how he might respond to this. I have, again, more of a tendency to think that it is the system. It is possibly, and more than likely, that which makes the rules and calls the shots, and the rest of the royal family lives by these rules, that this is how, the proper way. And it is, Diana hated it. So it was such a regimented life. And to me, the Emperor in this reading is that regimented notion that this is what we should do. And then when they follow it, it blows up in their face, because I don't think they have people in charge or whatever that are even doing a very good job of it. I don't think that their family is being directed very well by what they should do in this case, by those that all the yes people surrounding them. Okay, I'm getting a change coming with the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Cups. And this to me is a change where there's been a disconnection. And that to me has been this whole thing with her after being sick. People not really feeling like they're getting the right answers. I do think people need to leave her alone to let her heal, but I also think that they need to tell the people the truth so that people don't trip out. And to me, this is a change. This is a change from coming wherein people have been just given news that doesn't make any sense. So they just kind of sit there and throw up their hands and go, I don't know what to believe. There's the Ten of Cups and the King of Wands. So here again, we have another male figure that's trying to parade the family, trying to parade that everything is hunky-dory with that Ten of Cups. I just don't like these cards. Let me just put it this way. I do not feel that she is deceased. Okay. I do not feel that Kate is deceased. I just feel like she's really, really, really ill and not up to being in front of a camera or being social. And I think if that's the case, then just say it. Because when people are ill, I know, like, I'm ill right now, but I don't feel that bad enough that and look that bad enough that I would rather just not, be on camera or reach out. It's okay if people don't feel that way. They just need to be honest. Again, I just don't think so. I think that they want to try to provide, again, golly gee willikers, everything's just fine. with the here's a picture of wonderful Kate and her beautiful children. And for some reason, they tweak it in a picture that to me doesn't look like it needs to be tweaked at all, which makes you wonder, why did they think that they needed to? And yeah, I'm not getting one card yet here that shows me Kate. I'm getting 3 cards of male persons. Now, are these, like William and Charles and perhaps someone else? Maybe. But I've got a strong feeling that there's also at least one or more of them that are just staff that guide them or supposedly tell them, well, let's just do this or that. But I don't know that they're, like I said, I don't feel like they're getting good advice. And I don't think that they have enough sense, apparently, to not insult the intelligence of the people who pay for them to be basically the ambassadors of their country. And that makes me angry. All right, you know what? Let's try it with a different deck. Because this one's it's just getting all kind of torn up from the way that I shuffle. This is a smaller deck, but this is the famous haunted house deck that a lot of people like. And this is a smaller version of it. Let's just see if it works with this reading. Because the haunted house tarot that I'm using is kind of a storyline based tarot, sometimes the photographs, not the photographs, but the imagery really will work, and sometimes it really doesn't. So I find that it just depends. Let's just see. So let's try it with this deck. Did Princess Kate really take... No. Did Princess Kate really have that photo published? And did she, as she's supposed to have claimed, edit it herself? As was claimed on social media X, did Princess Kate really Photoshop that picture of her with her children? Is that true? Getting the King of Cups. To me, this is William. Okay, we have William here. And what else? The Three of Pentacles. Well, interestingly enough with this deck, okay, look. Right here, we have a lady that's laying down. And in this deck, this is the Three of Pentacles, where we're talking about a small number of people that are working together. And that to me says that there's been more than one person working or to do with this photo. I think William has something to do with it. I think this is Kate here. This figure right here, she might have a little to do with it. She might have just said, yes, that's fine, go ahead. And really not be very well. You can see how the people here are, these other two figures are looking at this third figure that doesn't look like they feel very good. That doesn't look like they're in good shape. So that makes a lot more sense to me. She still might just be very under the weather and say, yeah, go ahead. And I just think those that are doing this on her behalf aren't thinking ahead, aren't thinking things through. Okay, so that right there answers for me. And interesting that with the other deck, we got 3 males. The Emperor, and two kings, the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles. So with this deck, we're getting, again, an allusion to three people with the three of, or at least more than one, with the Three of Pentacles here. But the first card, as I said before, we got, which to me, this is her husband, because the King of Cups, that's him. So I feel that this is being done on her behalf and not really her being the one that edited this photo and published it. I think somebody else did it. She's just simply not feeling well enough. I get, again, that Ace of Cups of the overflow of emotion and the Five of Pentacles. The not being well, being under the weather, in a declined state where you're needing to physically, I feel, and mentally improve. You're still out of your regular life. You're feeling kind of disconnected. And there's a tremendous amount of outpouring. I think, and I'll say it again, that I do think that she is not feeling well. I think she's quite sick. And I think there's a whole lot of emotional vulnerability at this time for her. Highly emotional. I think that sometimes when they're trying to help her, once again, I think they're not doing her any good. I think because they can't see apparently through enough to properly edit something, or to just leave it alone and post it. So it's just making it look worse, as I've said. And this creates, I think, more problems for her. She doesn't need that. But these four cards show me that she's received help. Where in this picture is concerned, someone thinks that they're going to help her out and do this, and it does not turn out well. People think and find what's wrong with it, and then it makes something look even worse. And people outpour their emotion about it. Now here is the Six of Wands and the Eight of Cups. This is a change from the past and overcoming a battle and being recognized for it. But there is something here about a tendency to walk away, a tendency to move away from the past. This does show the female figure. I think she wants to make, and I think that there will be big changes once she has come through the obstacles for her healing. And I think once she is on the other side of this, and once again, I don't think she's going to pass. I don't think they've cloned her or done anything like that. I don't think they're doing that yet. I think people have really kind of gone off the deep end. But I do think that this has led to such kinds of out there conspiracies because they just don't have the guts enough to tell the truth and be 100 and respect the people that are supporting the monarchy financially and those that actually are like the monarchy. We have the Seven of Cups And we have the Nine of Cups. This is about, to me, all the various stories that people working for the palace come up with. There's a certain smugness with that Nine of Cups in this case. Depending upon the different decks that I use, you know, not different decks, but depending upon different readings that I get, sometimes this looks like a very generous, happy person that has enough to share, and other times this looks like the smug person. And these two cards make me feel like that's going to end. This defensive posturing of everything's gravy and the happy families and all of that, I feel like that's going to go by the wayside. I feel like that fantasy that they've weaved or that they give, it's just not going to work anymore after this. We have the Hermit. The Hermit comes up a lot, and that is her hermiting away, her keeping out of the public eye, and the Star, because she's going through a rough time. But she's also, these are also two dichotomies. The Hermit, which pulls all the way back and you don't see, is basically like a recluse. And wants to shine and express themselves in their own unique way. And then we have the Star, which is typically used to describe somebody that's very high profile. But this is also, in the case of the Hermit, doing some very big self-discovery and needing to be alone, needing not to be in the profile while one is doing so, because you're looking for inspiration. And that's where that comes in with the Star card. The Star card is known as the card of inspiration as well. So I think there's twofold message in that right there. And that is about the dichotomies that we're not used to, of her being so public, so out there all the time. And then we've got someone that's, now we don't see her at all. It's like, that's just, what's wrong with this picture? But I think she is going through a crisis. And I think there's, anytime when you're going through a health crisis, let me tell you, personally, I can tell you, and you, if you have a health crisis chronically, can know yourself that your emotions and your mental well-being are very much tied into that. And some days you just don't have good days, and you just, aren't going to want to be out there with everyone looking at you, and so on and so forth. So there's something, I believe, that is changing, and part of the change within Kate is going to come through finally getting some privacy. That's going to lead to, I think, changes later on. I think they're going to learn through this that they shouldn't be lying to the public and not being much more honest. They don't have to give us all the details, but they should give people the basic truth. Because I do see her going through a very introverted time with that Hermit, and with that Star as looking and going more spiritual. I didn't say religious, but I said spiritual. So I do think the outer world just seems too much for her right now. I do think William, excuse me, was eating popcorn earlier. I shouldn't have done that. I do think William and his family, but more so the people that work to advise the royal family, have been trying to take up her situation. I just think it's making a difficult thing worse. Okay, let's take a look at something else here. All right, maybe just one more card here. We get the Queen of Wands. I think that's Camilla. And we get the Knight of Pentacles. Well, I think there's something that she's up to for a while, of dealing with the details of doing most of the, a lot of royal work of being at things. And I know that even she has reportedly pulled back on some of hers. You know, I think they need to be careful. And I do want to do a reading on her. Again, the 9 of Wands and the 2 of Cups. I feel like she is just going through one heck of a time that is physically exhausting and that is energy-wise just incredible. I also think it is drawing her and her husband, William, closer together. I think it's, I'm going to say it again, I think it's causing them to mature, coming to a new road in their relationship of where they're both needing to grow up and mature. And I think this is going to be the, what would you call that? It's going to be an event that motivates that to happen. Can't think of the right word now. And I'm sliding again. And now I get the Queen of Pentacles herself, which to me, this is Kate. And the card that comes with her is the Ace of Pentacles. I'm sorry, the Ace of Wands. And this is a new fire. This is a new hope. This is new energy. This is revitalization and perking up. So I have a feeling that she does need this protection right now around her with the 9 of Wands. And what did I tell you last time about William? I saw those cards as well. I know not everyone likes William. It's fine by me. I have no dog in the race. But I actually think that despite whatever stupid crap that he's done, this is going to teach him to really value his wife and value family and not take it for granted. Because I see a deepening relationship through a very challenging event here where there's a protectiveness towards her. And under that, she's able to begin to flourish. And it's still down the road, you guys. I know, Easter, don't be surprised if she may not show up on Easter as everyone would like. I think even if she looks kind of down, I think that they should at least get a still photo and post it. Have someone post it and just be transparent. I could read endlessly on this family. There's so much drama, and I'm not going to let you down without just saying, let's see now. I got to think about my question. Let me put this on pause so I don't leave you hanging forever. Okay, I have a good question, and that is, will Princess Kate be publicly visible, shall we say, or make some kind of public overture legitimately after Easter, sometime, shortly after Easter, let's say. Because, I mean, like, after Easter could be like, okay, that could be 10 months for after Easter. I don't mean that. But I mean, I know that they're saying around Easter, but I don't know that she'll be up for that. But okay, but you know what? I'll use Easter. Is Kate going to be seen or able to dispel the concerns and the worries of society that are concerned for her by Easter? By Easter, will Kate be well enough to make a few public statements or some such thing? Will Kate be a lot better by Easter? Because, I mean, it's already March 11th at the time of this recording. Well, I do get the Knight of Wands, so that's good. That is a picking up of energy and vitality, but let's just see what's paired with. The Hermit. The Hermit. Okay. But it could mean that she's becoming active after not being so active. There is the Moon and the Ace of Cups. A lot of fears. I think this is also all the conspiracy. I tend to think it might not be right at Easter with that, but maybe we're getting closer with that Knight of Wands and the Hermit. It could be, too, that for all we know, she could feel a little scared, a little, nervous, anxious to do so. But here I'm seeing there's definitely some fears involved here. There's a lack of clarity. And then again, there's still a big overflow of response. That kind of makes me feel like maybe not at Easter. And then we get Temperance and the Five of Wands. So something is going to come to settle down these bickering sides, I think, of conspiracy that have unnecessarily been left to stir themselves because of the lack of transparency through the way things are handled with the royals, shall we say. But this is a balance. This is bringing a balance to the extremes. Like, what was I talking about earlier? Well, at least if it wasn't in this video, it was in another one where you have these extremes with conspiracy. Neither one are good. Neither one will necessarily give you the truth. They might have an element of the truth in it, but it's usually off, twisted way over this way or that way. And this, I love Temperance because it says, no, let's go to the middle road. Let's get to the truth. Let's balance out these extremes and see what then we have. That is usually the truth. It's not someone else's agenda, this or fear, so on and so forth. And with the fear card, with the Moon card, and the Ace of Cups, it shows that a lot of people are afraid. I think as well as those that direct the royals, that they're afraid to be truthful. And I just think they need to get some guts and not insult, once again, people's intelligence. But at the same time, respect her privacy. We have the Nine of Swords. This is worry. This is a lack of sleep, anxiety, just the buildup of thoughts. And I have anxiety disorder, so I know this card very well. And then we get the Chariot. It's about overcoming some anxiety as well. So that's very good. The Temperance is going to come in and deal with, I think, sides that are at odds with each other, that are pulling her this way and that way, telling her to do this, telling her to do that. And I think at the end of the day, she's going to move forward out of this rut of, I think, anxiety and depression, because I think that's what she has, in addition to being very ill. I hope that makes some sense. Nowhere did I get death. Nowhere did I get any card that she is not on this planet. And trust me, if I've been reading for a very long time, and she's very much here. She is very much alive, but she just doesn't have the best management team going on. And the Royals really need to do a tune-up and a rehaul of their whole thing and make it much more modern and trimmed down and transparent, but with still keeping to, I think, privacy for them to a certain degree. But this has been so mismanaged, poorly advised. I just can't. Maybe they'll learn from it. I hope so. So I'm going to leave you there with that, because my goodness, we are nearly at 46. We are at almost 47 minutes. So I hope you appreciate this reading. I hope it's helpful to you. I can appreciate how people feel about this, but please don't go around running around with these crazy conspiracies, because it's just not helpful and it's not truthful. So I'm going to leave that there. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Please give this a thumbs up if you do appreciate the videos, or at least find them interesting. And I'll talk to you later when I get the energy back up again. I've been kind of sick the last few days, so I strike while I can. All right, you guys take care. Bye.